Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, She Reads. Today I have a book review for you for The Night Circus. So the way that I'm going to structure this is that the first part of my review is going to be spoiler free. So if you have not read the book and you just want to hear if it's good or just a little bit about it, you can listen to the first part, and then I will let you know when I'm going to get into any parts that might have spoilers in it in the second part. So first of all, I will say that I was so excited to read this book. I had heard so many good things about it on BookTube. So many people loved it, and it just seemed like it was something that was going to be right up my alley. And to be honest with you, I mean, I don't want to say that it didn't live up to the hype, because it was, in a way, it was definitely worth the read for sure, and I did like it. I ended up giving it about a 3.5, 3.75 out of 5. And I think it was just more of me maybe wanting it to be different than what it was, if that makes sense. Like, first of all, I should say that, and I said this in another video of mine previously, is that her writing style is so beautiful. Like, she has a way with description that makes it seem as though you're really there. You can see everything that she's describing, you can smell the smells, you can taste the tastes, and it's as if you are really a part of this story walking through the circus. And in that regard, it's amazing. Like, she does such a good job with that. And I was actually really surprised to find that this is her first novel. This was like, she's a debut author, and this was what she put out first. So, I mean, that being said, she did an amazing job for sure. And she's a very talented writer. Another thing that I really liked about it was that this was a very original idea. I have never really come across a story like this in the past, and it's not very often that you come across truly original ideas anymore in literature. It just doesn't really happen. Everything's been done. And I mean, I'm sure this probably has been done at some point as well, but I haven't come across it yet in my reading life. So it was definitely original and beautiful, beautiful writing style. A lot of times it's like lyrical, and she just has such a talent for that. So those are definitely good things to credit the story with. Now, to talk about the parts that I wasn't so fond of, first of all, the storyline went in a direction that I didn't really want it to go. I kind of wanted this to take more of a supernatural turn, and it didn't really do that. And that is just my own personal preference, so everybody that reads this is going to have a different take on that. Some people probably love the direction that it took, but it just wasn't really there for me. And second of all, I found that she introduced quite a few different characters, and it became a little bit confusing. And I think that she could have told this story without really introducing quite so many characters. And she also went back and forth between points of view as well as times. So, some parts were 100 years ago and some parts were recent. And then that combined with all the different characters, you had to really pay attention to what was going on in order to make sure that you didn't get lost. It is going to be all I'm going to say for the spoiler-free part. So if you have not read the book, then I suggest exiting out of this video now and coming back after you read it. Now we're going to get into the parts that have some spoilery sections in it. So like I had said before, I absolutely love the way that she wrote this story. And my favorite parts in particular were the parts where she is speaking to you and as if you're walking through the circus. Those parts were they were just so well done. They were so well executed. The way that she just described everything, she just did such a great job of it, and I absolutely love that part. The parts that I didn't love so much, those characters, man, like, she introduced so many characters, and I think that some of them probably could have been condensed. Like, for example, why was Bailey even a character? Like, it seemed as though she almost wrote him in as an afterthought, because it seemed that the only reason he was even there was to end up taking over the circus and to kind of tie up loose ends at the end. I think that maybe she could have written his character as well as Herr Thiesen's maybe together. Like, I think maybe they could have been one character, and maybe Herr Thiesen could have taken over the circus instead of being killed. That's kind of where my mind went to it. Like, Bailey just seemed like he was an afterthought, and he didn't really seem like he needed to even be a part of the story. So I think if Herr Thiessen had ended up living and taking over the circus, that would have been probably the best outcome for that, and just eliminated Bailey's character completely. Another couple characters that I thought could have been condensed were Tusiko. Not sure if that's how you say it, but that's how I read it in my mind. The contortionist, Tusiko, and Isabel. Once again, two characters that I didn't really think stood out enough on their own to warrant actually being characters. They didn't really contribute a whole lot to the story. And I think that they could have been condensed into one character that did both things. Like, the other thing is point of view. Like, she kept changing throughout points of view, which was okay, but she also went back and forth in time, and I didn't really see that. Like, when she would be writing as if it were 100 years ago, I didn't get that in my mind. Like, she didn't really use language that they would have used back then, and it just seemed like a more current read, so I didn't really get the feeling that this was a timepiece and that it was set in a different era. It just all read to me as if it was modern day. The only thing that would have been out of place was that now today we wouldn't have a circus like this, and it wouldn't be something that was so interested, and people wouldn't, unfortunately, be as interested in it as they would have been back 100 years ago. So that's where it did kind of seem like it was 100 years ago, but just the way that she wrote it and their dialogue and how everything was written, it just didn't seem like it was. Another question that I had was, why does Marco make everybody in the circus stop aging? Like, I wasn't sure if that was something that I just had missed in the story and there was a reason for that. Like, maybe it was to make the circus last longer. I don't know, but that I must have just glossed over that, or maybe it wasn't in the book. But that just to me made no sense. Like, what was the point of that? Why did he make everybody stop aging? Made no sense to me. And the last kind of complaint, I guess, that I had with this book was the love story between Celia and Marco. I just, like I kind of said earlier, I really wanted this book to take more of a supernatural turn. And I was kind of disappointed when it kind of turned into like a love story. I just didn't think it was necessary, and I thought that the book could have been really well done without it. I didn't think that it was needed. And yeah, I don't know. It just bothered me for some reason. I just did not like how that turned out. If I had been writing the book, I would have gone in a more supernatural direction. I think that there's a ton of different routes that she could have gone with this that maybe would have turned out a little bit better, in my opinion. So that is pretty much it. That's pretty much all I have to say about the book. I do think that it was a good book, and I will say also that this is the first book review that I've done. And I think that because I went into reading this knowing that I was going to do a book review on it, that I think my experience is a lot different than it would have been had I just sat down to pleasure read it. I think had I not been, thinking about, I'm going to do a book review on this and I need points to say, I don't think I would have been quite as critical about it, if that makes sense. I think I would have just enjoyed it. I think I might have liked it a little bit more. So yeah, I think just sitting down and really analyzing a story makes you kind of pick it apart a bit, and it makes you kind of think of, I would have done this differently, or why did she do this, or whatever. So I think I have to say that as well, because like I said, I really wanted to just love this book so much, and I didn't love it. I did like it, but I didn't love it. Yeah. I still would recommend it. It is definitely a really inventive idea. And like I said, I can't believe this came from a debut author. Like, she did a really, really great job for her first novel. Amazing. But yeah, overall, about a 3.5, 3.75. There's just a few issues that I had with it. But once again, those are all personal issues. Somebody else might pick up this same book, and lots of people obviously have. This book is doing amazingly well, so obviously a lot of people do really like it, and it just kind of depends on your tastes and how you read things. So that's all I have to say on The Night Circus. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great day. Bye!